This is infrared sensor footage lasting 5 minutes and 2 seconds, labeled by its uploader as Syrian UAP instant acceleration and delivered to a classified network in June 2024. ARRO identified this clip among materials gathered in response to a March 6, 2026 request from 8 members of the United States House of Representatives for access to 51 potentially UAP-related records allegedly held by the Department of War and the intelligence community. ARRO assesses that the imagery is likely derived from an infrared sensor aboard a United States military platform operating in the CENTCOM area of responsibility during 2021. The office also notes that many of the recovered files lack a substantiated chain of custody and that this particular video was digitally altered before being uploaded and is presented here as received. Early in the clip, the sensor is panning to hold an area of contrast roughly centered in the frame. The motion is steady and the scene presents as a thermal view with limited spatial detail. At one point, the tracking stops and the area of contrast moves rapidly to the right, exiting the frame in a motion the uploader describes as an instant acceleration. That abrupt change is the element the uploader highlighted in the title. What follows are multiple edits and presentations of the same material. The clip repeatedly replays the sequence with processing applied, including a white edge threshold intended to accentuate shape, versions shown at reduced speeds, and a black and white inversion with a zoomed crop to emphasize finer features. Interspersed with those process passes are periods where the camera returns to a far zoom, showing the region of contrast at the sensor's original resolution. Later, the sensor performs rapid zooms in and out and eventually brings a reticle to bear on the target area, holding a close lock for a sustained interval. Midway through the sequence, the uploader again reproduces the instant exit sequence, so the same rapid motion can be observed after the various image treatments. The presence of added edge enhancement, slowed replays, inverted values, and repeated zooms is plainly visible in the presentation, and ARRO records that the media was altered prior to upload. From a technical standpoint, the clip is notable for 2 reasons that ARRO flagged. First, the apparent sudden change in velocity of the contrast region when the sensor stops tracking invites questions about whether the motion reflects the object itself, a sensor control issue, an artifact of processing, or a combination of those factors. Second, the lack of a substantiated chain of custody for many records in this collection, including this file, complicates any independent verification of origin and limits how the imagery can be used as evidence. The release program identifier associated with this package is Pursue, and the material was made public on May 22, 2026 as part of that release. This video does not come with an analytical determination from ARRO within the clip itself. The descriptive materials accompanying the file are explicit that the notes provided are informational and not a factual determination of the event's nature or validity. Viewers should take into account the recorded processing steps and the documented custody issues when interpreting the imagery. For additional context on this incident, including the uploader-defined title, the agency attribution, and the dates associated with collection and publication, consult the written record that accompanies the entry in the public archive. Explore the case file, related footage, citing reports, and our weekly UAP news podcast at UAPDrop.com.